here. Now, since we know that we'll be talking about building a career in law, primarily it will be a question and answer kind of a setup. We'll talk about specific issues, and at the end, we'll take up question and answers from the audience. So without further ado, I'll start with certain concerns, certain questions, and I'll start with Dr. Shastri. Good evening, Dr. Shastri. So firstly, I would urge you to speak about this issue which law students often face. There's this limited clarity about the difference between law profiles in a law firm vis-a-vis a corporate house, maybe because of the greater visibility of law firms. So could you talk about career growth there, roles, responsibilities, etc.? Thank you.
Thanks, Garima. First of all, thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Taxmann. And good evening to everybody. Good evening to Mr. Shahi and Professor Kumar. Very interesting question, Garima. In-house roles or industry, what kind of careers are there is something less talked about. Generally, the mainstream professions in law is considered either as a litigating lawyer or in law firms, or right now either judges or academics. Then the in-house is lagged behind. Whereas this is one area which is really growing at a very rapid pace. I'll first come to this, why this area is growing. Right now we see in India, the in-house departments in the top companies, means companies which have a turnover of 1,000 crore or more, or which have market cap of 1,000 crore or more, we'll see that now they're establishing legal departments in their company. And generally, the size of legal department is 4 to 5 people with a head. So every company right now is requiring at least legal skill set, people with legal skill set. And that is where this stream is growing. Now, more than that, right now we have almost MSME sector, which has huge numbers. Right now, even the medium enterprises, there are more than 3 lakh medium enterprises. And the conversion rate of this medium enterprise to large enterprise is around 10%. So in every year to 2 years or 3 years, by the time a person graduates from law, or in 3 to 5 years, when a person graduates from law, we'll see these medium enterprise turn into large enterprise, and then they will require a legal professional. So the scope is huge. So 3 lakh enterprise, even if you take 10%, 30,000 enterprise converting into a large enterprise and requiring 5 people. So there's huge opportunity available for legal students. So this is one. So opportunity is rising. Now coming to the main question, that what it entails. So what is the upside there? What the career looks like? So we all know about top lawyers like Harish Salves and Abhishek Manu Singhvi and their earning, but generally the salary structure of a general counsel or head legal in these companies is really not that much visible. People know about law firm partner salaries and all that stuff. They generally Google all these stuff, but generally general counsel salary perks that they enjoy is slightly lesser known. So I'll just 1 minute to explain that how the compensation sector looks like, and then come to the skill set that is required to be an in-house counsel. So general counsels in the top companies like the top Fortune 100 companies, you see top-notch general counsels where the group GCL, the top number one person who generally is either in the board or who reports to the CEO. Their salaries in top companies range from 4 CR to 8 CR. This is just higher limit of salaries per annum. And there's a total compensation, whether it's salary or commissions and other stuff or bonuses. A general counsel in a tier 2 firm, like in a median kind of company, where the company salary means they are like not Fortune 100, but Fortune 100 to Fortune 500 or that kind of salary. Their salary is around 1.2 CR to 3 CR, the top person's salary. And then the third is less than Fortune 500, other companies which are there. They're the general counsel salaries, the head legal salaries, and they're mostly the head legal, they report to CFOs. Their salary are in range of 60 lakhs to 1 CR. So this is the topmost salary level. And there's something about the top number one guy. Now, coming to the entrance level, if you take an entry-level person, again, there are 3 segments. So tier 3, the junior most, you will get employment at a salary at level of 3 lakh to 5 lakh rupees per annum. If the middle level, it is 5 lakh to 7 lakh rupees entry level per annum. And at the top level, it is around 15 lakh, 20 lakh rupees per annum salary, how you enter into it. So this is what the career look like. So you enter into 15 lakh rupees in a top company,
Right.
you go to 4 CR is the upside in today's money value. So this is what the size is and the market is. Now, coming to what are the 2 skill set that is required to get into this and to be successful. So generally, if you spend 15 years to 20 years in any of these 3 levels, you will be at the top of your game in whatever level you are. But what the skill set require is twofold, and that is what I keep on telling people, that if you want to be really successful in in-house counsel, the 2 skill set required, number 1 is the fundamental of law, that you have to be really good in the fundamental of law and all the laws, whether it be constitution, whether it be contract, whether it be income tax, whether it be criminal law, civil law, torts, and contract is very important because contract is day in, day out. So you have to be really good in the fundamentals. No one asks you to go and read the sections and know the sections by heart or know the case law by heart, but the fundamentals should be strong. And fundamental of each law. Not that I know only about criminal law, I don't know civil law, I know only that, I do not know and don't know that. That will not work in in-house. You have to be really strong in all these things. Like many of the lawyers, they are very averse of knowing about tax law at all or about labor law. They will not at all like to know about these things. But you have to know if you are in-house counsel. You have to have the basic understanding of tax law, the basic understanding of labor law and stuff. And the second and even more important skill set is business adaptability. So once you are in-house counsel, you are no more only a lawyer. You have to understand that business, you have to understand the industry you are in and the fundamentals of that industry, how the finance works, how the marketing works, how the sales works, how the engineering works of your company. So that you have to really get involved into, get your hands dirty, try to understand that. So if you have these two skill sets, or you're ready to really apply these two skill sets and learn these skill sets in your time, in-house gives this kind of career path, which we just discussed.
Great. Thank you so much. I mean, that clarifies the issue in its entirety. Now, since we have talked about these basic skill sets, the next question is, now we have a new intruder into the system, that is technology. So we have legal tech as a new area. Do you see opportunities available in this field, and how do you see it evolving in the near future?
A fantastic question, Garima. And this is people, especially law graduates or law students, or everybody, even the persons who are working in the field of law, they're all scared that, okay, legal tech will come, AI will come, and their jobs will just take away. See, AI and legal tech definitely is a very, very important tool. And I don't know how many people are using ChatGPT, but if you have that skill set of using ChatGPT well, believe me, it is going to give you good results. So AI, legal tech, whether you like it, you don't like it, is going to come, is going to disrupt the legal industry. So what should you do as a legal student or as a legal professional is very simple. You have to have your approach. It has to be more strategic, more intuitive. So you have to think about solutions. You have to use AI to give your mundane basic searches and basic drafting. But the key in the drafting is not merely that's putting it in formatting, but it is that skill set that, okay, what ground will work against this law, against this judge, what kind of law will work, what kind of arguments will work, or what kind of things will work in this contract, how I will negotiate with the SPA well with the counterparty, what will work, will not work, or what I should give away, what I should really stick on to. So those things, that what is in whatever work you're doing at the relevant time. So that strategic aspect of it, how to use this drafting. So as I say, so they can tell you how to play chess, the rules of the chess will be there, how to use that pieces well, that skill set you have to develop. So how to use that law well, how to use the drafting well or research well. So that skill set you have to develop. And if you develop that skill set, the legal tech or AI is going to help you in your pursuits.
Right. Thank you, sir. Just one more question, sir, before we move on. Since we are talking about the evolving nature of the industry, I think it's a right time to talk about alternative careers as well. So could you throw some light on alternative career paths, such as a legal journalist or a mediator, NGO, human rights organizations, etc.?
Yes. Very interesting question, Garima. And this is what I feel, that legal skill set is a very translatable skill set. Many people, they do not know this, and they think that they are fixated to only law firms or to judges or litigation, or maybe now in-house or academia. But more than this, the legal skill set, if you've developed that skill set well, so when I say legal skill set, means the skills of writing good, drafting well, understanding, researching well, applying all these things into practical difficulties or practical questions. So that is what the skill set a lawyer generally gets, that, okay, how to apply law to the given text. If you have those skill sets ready, now it is translatable into many other things. Legal journalism, as you rightly said, is a very important career, which is now growing, because now you have journalists who are specialized in a particular aspect, and then they go and do journalism only in that aspect. Very recently, I was in this Forbes event where I met people in CNN who are just legal editors of things. So they are lawyers who have that editorial skill set, and they do only this. So this is something which is a very interesting career. Second thing, which right now people generally ignore, is in industry, you have a specialization in consultancy, management consultancy for lawyers. So there are top management consultancy firms who also like to engage lawyers or like to recruit lawyers for management consultancy, because now management consultancy is not only a business problem, but it is also a regulatory problem. It's also legal issues. So they will hire you a lot, and with good packages. So if you have a really good skill set, management consultancy is something also which you can think about. Obviously, you have to understand finance a bit more. So you have to be really good in finance. So it's only for those who are really finance savvy. So if maybe along with law, you have to do some CA or something else, or for some other courses that makes you the credibility of finance. So that is again the second kind of an option. Third option, which is again there for lawyers, is in the field of all this legal tech. So now there are companies who want, so earlier, because legal tech is an industry which take input from lawyers and input from technology people, and then they create these solutions. So these legal tech industry right now, they are very nascent in India. And next 5 to 7 years, as AI is going to to get improved, you'll see a lot of legal tech companies doing really, really big in contract management, litigation management, in claims management, in other workflow management. So, and they will need the help of lawyers or the legal persons who can come and tell that, okay, this is how you have to chart down. This is what works for a lawyer. Because simply technology people will not understand what a lawyer will want. So therefore, again, that is one area which is going to grow in coming times. There are many others, but I'll try to rest my answer here. There's so many, but it's a very, very transferable skill set.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shastri. That's a very nice way of telling that it's not just law that you have to focus on. You also have to look at other related aspects such as finance. At that note, I would now move on to Advocate Shahi, sir. And since you have a vast experience in the sector of regulatory litigation, sir, so I would firstly request you to tell us something about the key skills that should be focused upon by law students to build a career in litigation, because that is a career which has the maximum visibility amongst law students.
Sure. So I think this applies not only to litigation, but also to law firms. And I'm sure it will apply to even in-house. When a new kid is joining the profession, one of the first skills that I want is research. Okay. Because as Dr. Shastri also mentioned, that you don't have to be an expert in all the laws. You can be. You're just getting into the profession. But as a senior, I would want that a young professional is able to pull out an answer if I give him a question. He should be able to go figure out what are the applicable laws, what are the precedents, what's happening out there in the market, commercial. Now, a lot of law firms and litigation, there's a lot of commercial element to it. So they should be able to go figure out what's happening out there in the market. So first skill is, to me, is research. Second is language. All right, you have figured out what's happening out there. What are the precedents? What are the courts saying? How do you convert that into language, written or verbal?
Right.
So work on the language. Okay. Whether you like it or not, the language of the legal industry, at least at high court levels, Supreme Court levels, is English. So you must have command on that language. If you are at other forums where the language is different, you must have command over that local language in that case. For instance, if you go to many states in northern India, you'll find the documents that come are in either Hindi or Urdu. Or you must be able to read and understand it. You must be able to then convey it to the court. Okay. You know, I read somewhere the job of a lawyer is to make simple things complex and complex things simple. Okay. So if you don't have command over the language, you can't do that. So that's the second skill that I would like in a young professional, which he can develop through his law school. Third is, and this is something that people don't realize, you know, in a fast-moving world, in a world where we look at short videos for and an attention span is not more than maybe 5 minutes, I want that young professional to be detail-oriented.
Right.
When you're looking at a judgment, don't only look at the proposition thrown to you. There may be 5 other things in that judgment that may have an impact on your case. Read that.
Right.
Because what I've seen is many times when you're told to do a research, and this has been both in interns and young associates, they'll read the relevant paragraphs of the judgment only.
Right.
They'll have some idea of the background, some facts, but not the entire facts. That orientation towards details. Okay, when you are drafting, are you covering everything? If I've given you one proposition, are you looking at the entire ecosystem or not? That's what ensures the quality of work that you deliver is not mediocre. That's the difference between a mediocre work and a good quality work.
Right.
So these are 3 things that I will emphasize on.
Thank you, sir. That's a very fresh view on litigation, I would say. Thank you so much. That brings me to my next question. That is, as a new age litigant, the first crisis that a new age litigant faces is about building the clientele. So would you say that there's any way in which one can improve the level of clientele in early years?
I would say in the initial early years, and mostly both litigation or you're in a law firm, you are joining either a chamber or you're joining a law firm.
Yes.
I don't see many cases where a young kid that directly goes into and becomes an independent litigator, again, unless he or she has a background. Okay.
Right.
If he or she has a background, there is somebody that the senior that they're looking towards.
Right.
In all these cases, you should see how your senior is behaving with the client. Learn from that, because you have a person who has already developed a practice.
Right.
Okay. So learn from him, learn from other people, observe other people. I have worked with law firms. I'm still working with a law firm. I have observed how senior partners behave. Whenever I met a senior partner of any law firm, whether my law firm or some other law firm, and we are either talking to a client, we are at a function, we are at a conference, I have kept an eye on how they are talking to the people out there in the market. Okay. How is it that they are building that trust? And that is the most important element that one will learn. You have a person who's coming to you. He has some problem. If you're a litigator, then he's in some kind of trouble. Okay, he's got some problem that he wants resolved. In the corporate world, there is a commercial issue that he brings to you. The most important thing is that trust.
Right.
Don't run after that. Okay, here's a client. Let me do a case. Let me take a job from him, make money, and walk out. Don't be a fly-by-night operator. You must ensure that the work that you're delivering, the advice that you are giving, you win the trust of that client. The client should be able to trust you.
Right.
And how will he or she trust you? That is if, one, your advice is good quality. So it's not that you were an expert in competition law, so you look only at competition law and give a very narrow-viewed advice. Okay, you can't have a tunnel vision. That's why I agree with Dr. Shastry. You should know about, holistically, you should know about a little bit about different areas of laws
Right.
which impact your area. It's an ecosystem end of the day.
Right.
So your advice should be top-notch. Your research should be up to the mark. It can't be that I have pulled out 2 judgments and based on that I give my advice. What
Right.
if you have clients who are multinationals now? What if the advice that you give in India may have an impact based on laws in some other jurisdictions?
Right.
You should have that ability to assess that, look, there are other variables which are going to impact. And when I give my advice, I must consider all those elements.
Right.
And when I'm giving that advice to my client, I should be able to convey my advice and it should be a straightforward, it should be correct advice. It can't be that a wishful advice or what my client wants. You shouldn't be delivering that. If it is bad news, you should be able to convey it without causing panic.
Right.
If it is good news, you should convey it, but tone down the elation that the client may feel. You must be able to tell them that, look, this is a positive thing happening, but here are 5 risks that you must consider.
Right.
Bad news, hard luck, but these are the 5 solutions that I'm coming to you with.
Right.
That builds trust over a period of time. And a youngster should look at that.
Right. Right. Thank you, sir. One more question before I move on. I believe networking is very important in the profession of a litigant. So are there any effective ways of networking you would want to highlight?
Initially, listen, go to conferences, listen to people who are talking there, the experts who are coming. Learn from that. Networking is important, but networking is your first point of contact.
Right.
And then you must go and build that trust. I'll go back to the element of trust. That is in this profession, that is the most important thing. And I believe that, will give you more opportunity, because if you have a trust with one client, he'll be meeting with 2 people and saying, look, this guy is good. If you have a problem, you can go talk to him.
Right. Right.
I believe that yields you more opportunities than just networking. You must work after the networking is just the first step.
Right. Right. Thank you. Thank you, sir. So now I'll move on to Dr. Kumar. And we will be specifically talking about academics. We know that academics has sprung up suddenly, and every law graduate is talking about it seriously as a profession now. So, Dr. Kumar, my first question to you is that what, in your opinion, should an aspiring academician expect in terms of career growth?
Thank you, Garima. Thank you thank you, Taxmann, for the opportunity. And before I start talking about a career option in academia, we start with breaking a myth, and that is that law students suffer from this bad habit of having too many options or too many career plans, sometimes which works to their detriment. And one of the things that academia has suffered from is from people who have chosen academia without having the understanding of how academia works, and whether they have the kind of inclination towards academia. First of all, academia is not the last option that one should be looking at. It is one of the options, but the career growth, career objectives, and the reason why you choose academia is very different from many students who may choose, say, for example, litigation or a life in a law firm or as a counsel in a corporate house. Because the reason why one should choose academia is a sheer passion for teaching and research. Because if you do not have that liking for teaching research, if you can't spend time with books, if you don't find interest in academic intellectual battles, if you don't find interest in spending long hours in reading and writing, if you don't have the patience to do a PhD, say, for that matter, then probably this career path is not for you. And let me be very frank about that. Because very soon, students who choose academia or go for masters start comparing, say, for example, academia with the kind of paychecks they may get in, say, a law firm or in a in-house industry. In terms of career path, as I said, the prime motivation for why you are in academia is not because you did not get anything else. It's because you have the sheer love of law, and you like to spend times obsess over niche areas of law, research on those aspects which other career options may not provide you the opportunity to, and thereby paychecks may be one of the consideration, but not the consideration. And thereby the career growth, as you can imagine, is a lot of governed by how much time that you've spent in this field, and how much intellectual growth that you have. Technically speaking, say, for example, most of the public universities are guided by Universities Grant Commission. And in terms of career track, once you are hired in a university, that it will take at least 12 to 13 years to become a professor, a full-time professor. You start at a junior level, at assistant professor level, then a minimum of 8 to 9 years at an assistant professor level, where you have to also have your PhD to move to a second level of associate level. And then another couple of 3 years, 4 years there, and then you move to a professorship. But then this is a long career, long and slow, and you have to be patient in terms of the career path that is there is. But in terms of satisfaction, it is highly rewarding. You get to both confuse students and inspire students at the same time. And trust me, you every batch that you meet of students, you get an opportunity to interact with a new generation, a new lot who fills the classroom with enthusiasm, and then you can share your passion, your sheer love for the law with these students, and that is the most satisfaction that you can get from being in the career in academia. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Now, taking the thread forward, that academics is one of the professions now. So now it's important to talk about the minimum thresholds that need to be achieved. So Dr. Kumar, could you throw some light upon the minimum requirements that should be fulfilled, given that there are so many rules by UGC and there are so many rules by universities? So some clarity on that would help.
So see, technically, there are two types of universities in the country, private and public.
Yes.
And the hirings happen at two levels, contractual level or at a regular permanent basis. Many universities have initial system of probation. So all that is it's a mixture of everything. I will take the context of a public university, which is guided by Universities Grant Commission. The first level is the universities may hire on a contract basis, where the minimum requirement today in India for being hired as an assistant professor is your master's. Whether you have done your master's in India or abroad, that is the minimum requirement. But as you gradually move ahead, PhD becomes a requirement. PhD becomes an essential requirement for you to become to move up the ladder. Similarly, if you have in a public university, if you hire on a permanent basis or a regular basis, same, and a master's is the minimum criteria. However, there are many universities that have started looking at PhD as the minimum requirement. Going forward, that may or may not be the standard that is adopted by many universities. Once you are into the system, then there's a general phrase that everyone follows across the world is publish or perish. That means your career growth is not just guided by the time that you spend in the field, but also the kind of work that you're doing. So teaching becomes one of the parts of the work that a professor does. A lot of time is spent in research and publication, and your career track is then intertwined with the kind and the quality of your publications. The more you spend time in the industry, the more you research, the more you publish, the better your chances are to rise up quickly.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Just on a related note, could you throw some light upon UGC net as a criterion, and how important is it? And given that a person is giving net,
Right.
does one have to choose an area of specialization, or?
Yeah, thank you for pointing out that. I missed that in my earlier conversation. For most of the public universities today, UGC has prescribed a minimum qualification, and that qualification is today judged by a National Eligibility Test, NET. NET is an exam which is conducted twice a year, and anyone who has master's degree can apply for or go for a net examination. It's a qualifying examination, which means you have to score above a certain level to be qualified, to be eligible, to be hired on a permanent basis. As I said, for contractual jobs, net is generally not a requirement that is made by most of the private and public universities. But for hiring at a permanent level, net is an essential criteria right now. In terms of net, again, it's similar to bar examination, but a bit more extensive, a bit more in-depth knowledge of law is required. But yes, it's a taxing and absorbing a kind of examination where you're tested on literally all laws that you may have studied in the law school, and it generally does not depend on the specialization area that you may have opted for in a master's. Now, coming to the second question is in terms of specialization, or most of the master's degree in India and abroad has some kind of specialization system, which basically means that instead of studying law to thoroughly like we did in the undergrad, you get to choose a particular area where you want to develop your research skills or understanding of that subject. For example, I can pick up a specialization in corporate law and build my understanding that I had in undergrad to a more nuanced level. So it's an advanced study that you do. And in terms of career growth, certainly such advanced understanding and knowledge helps you both in terms of your teaching skills or teaching and your possibilities of recruitment. Because many of the areas which we have studied in law school, frankly speaking, whether it is tax or IPR or corporate law or say all the subjects which are considered mandatory by the Bar Council of India, does require a lot of good teachers.
Right.
Many of the people who are in the specialized niche areas, for example, we have two of them on the panel, uh, uh, choose to go to industry, and thereby there's a real dearth of faculty in such some of the technical areas. So a student who chooses a specialization has a better chance, I would say, in terms of getting hired, absorbed in universities in India and abroad. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, keeping this spirit of not reading just law, but all other areas that are related to law, I'll circle back to Dr. Shastri with my next question. That is, do you think that doing an MBA post a graduate degree in law is a better strategic choice, or doing an LLM from a reputed or a foreign college is a better option for law graduates?
Sure. Just one small thing, as Mr. Shahi was saying about networking.
Yes.
Just add one small thing there, that see, networking, and he rightly said, that is not only just knowing people and connecting with them on LinkedIn, but so if 100 people have a good estimation about you, yes, that he's a good lawyer, he understands law well. If 100 people know you well, believe me, you will get at least one or two good clients. So the conversion is provided they have a good kind of image or reputation about you, that yes, this person is really good in law. So that you have to keep on increasing.
Right.
Not merely knowing people, that obviously the first step, as Mr. Shahi said, but so that is what is required, and that is not only for lawyers, it applies to even in-house also. You really have to go up and up. So you should, the top GC should know you that well, that yes, this person is good. So either through conferences or by doing some kind of assignment together. So that is required. And one more thing, for Dr. Kumar was saying regarding the niche area and the lack of faculty. I don't know why this kind of industry and academic, there's this divide is there. I know a lot of people who are in industry who love to go and give it back to academia, but somehow still it is too far and few between. So I guess now time has come whereby the top law schools and professors like Professor Kumar should take this initiative along with the general counsels or people in industry, the CEOs, the CFOs who are there in the industry, and they should do some kind of a collaboration. We should do work together. That industry also go and take some classes and courses there. I know the timing and all that will be difficult, but now with technology, all these things can be resolved. So I guess we should utilize their skill set and what they learn there for the benefit of students. How it will happen, I do not know. I'll leave it to academia to develop it. They have to take the initiative, I feel. Coming back to your question, which is very relevant, and that what should we do? And a lot of law students, they get confused. That okay, I've done law. Like for engineers, it is IIT, IIM makes a lot of sense,
Yes.
and most of the people have done great in their career by doing IIT and IIM, by doing an MBA from after engineering. But law students generally, they don't go and they don't prefer to do an MBA mostly. They think law in itself is a complete education, and obviously they upskill it by doing a good LLM or some other similar, which is a very good thing. But if you now, that is what you have to now think about it, that where and what kind of personality you are. If you think that you are very finance savvy or you understand the business things well, and you want to make a career either in in-house or you want to make a career in management consultancy or such similar fields, then doing an MBA makes a lot of sense. Because see, a person who understands the regulatory aspect of things, how law works, and a person who understands the business aspect of things is a very rare commodity. Many of the CEOs, CFOs, they may understand law, obviously because of their experience, they'll understand things, but somehow they will miss the nuances of contract act, they'll miss the nuance of constitutional law, because that nuances you cannot learn. If you are really good to understand, but majority of them, they will miss out those things. Likewise,
Yes.
an in-house counsel, a person who's working in a company, because they share experience, they understand a little bit of finance. But again, that nuance of finance, that okay, this is how it has to work, how the depreciation will come into play, how EBITDA calculation will come into play, how the valuation will come into play. So they'll miss out those nuances at times. They'll not understand it that well, and then that may haunt them in their decision making. So doing MBA makes sense, provided number one, you are number savvy person, and number two, your aim is to make a career, to develop a career either in-house or in similar field where MBA is
Right.
but if you want to develop a career purely as a litigating lawyer, purely as as an academician, or otherwise, maybe an MBA may not give you that benefit. A good LLM will help you there.
Right.
But it all depends on individual what the career option the person wants to choose.
Right. Right. On a related note, Dr. Shastri, since we are talking about further qualifications, how do the courses such as a course on CS or a CA, CFA, how much are these relevant and in what fields? Could you guide the students about that? Yes.
Very, very similar. Great question, Garima. So same thing, if you, it all depends. So this is from a very industry heavy perspective. If you really want to develop a career in industry. So CA makes a very interesting choice because then it opens two branches for you. You can be a GC or you can be a CFO in a company. A CFO who understands law is a hot commodity. Likewise, a GC who understands taxation and who understands the financial nuances is a hot commodity. So it all depends whether you can really, you can put in that kind of hours, because doing law is difficult, doing CA is again even more difficult, requires a lot of perseverance and a lot of effort. So if you can really put in that, it definitely makes a lot of sense, at least in industry, because then your options becomes, you just open up, because then you become an all-rounder for industry where you can bat well, you can bowl well. So that really, really helps. Second is doing courses like CS and all that, which generally most of the law students generally they'll do CS in law, because most of the companies in India, they never had law graduates per se. They never recruited in past. Now law has evolved a lot, and the GC role has evolved a lot, and in-house counsel roles have evolved a lot. But earlier, the CS will because CS is mandatory requirement of law. So generally lawyers will do CS or CS will do law, and they will join corporates. But doing a CS in law also helps at times, because then you understand the corporate nuances well. You understand, because if once you're in a company, you have to understand how a company works, how a corporate law works, how a board works, and what are the corporate secretarial standards. So you have to understand those things. What is an RPT, a related party transaction, and what all these things are there, because that is day in, day out, you will be talking to people and you have to give advice on those things. So doing CS helps. There are new courses also like CFA, CPA, CFE, Certified Fraud Examiner. Now that also helps, because now in-house roles also are segregated a lot. The legal people, they're not only in legal department, but they are in department like contracts, they are in department like compliance. So if you're in a compliance department working on ethics investigation, a course like CFE will really help. It will bolster your career there, and then you can aim at becoming a head of compliance and so on and so forth in the corporate sector. Likewise, doing a CPA or CFA will really help you, because then it's very similar to a chartered accountancy skill set, whereby you understand the finance. Whether CFA is even better than CA at times for a lawyer, because that gives you the strategic perspective of finance. As CA, you'll move into accounting. Maybe that skill set may not be relevant at a higher level, but CFA gives you the strategic aspects of things, that how to structure a particular deal, and that really at times in corporate that kind of skill set is very, very helpful. So if you can really do these courses while you are pursuing law, or just after once you are in the initial stages of your career, they are really going to help you a lot in industry, in a corporate world.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Shastri. Now I will move on to Advocate Shahi for a couple of questions. So the first question is a very basic question that students often struggle with, as to how important are bar exams or any specific professional certifications or qualifications which litigation as a career requires, and given your experience in regulatory litigation as a sector, if you could throw some light on that.
Sure. So bar exam, of course, is the most important. You can't practice without that. Okay.
Yes.
You can't avoid it.
Yes.
But rest of the certifications, they are very important. Okay. But see, there are a lot of courses out there. Okay. Like Dr. Shastri was just mentioning, there's so many courses which will help you grow in the organization. Same applies. It maybe not so much in litigation. Litigation, the knowledge is more important than the certification itself. The certification may be important when you are applying for a law firm, or when you're initially going to a chamber, sitting in an interview, and you're showing your resume, when you're being judged on the resume. If you have that certification, that helps.
Yes.
But I would say if you're going for a particular area, so you're saying corporate law, or let's take example of competition law, try and understand your ecosystem. Try and see which all laws are related to your subject. So if I'm learning competition law, I should have an idea about M&A also. Because I'll be doing merger filings. I will go into the Competition Commission of it. So I should know what my merger team, transaction team is talking about. So having a bit of knowledge about that does help. If I am going into regulatory litigation, so I'm going to do competition law litigation as well, then it helps to know what are the procedures, how is evidence assessed. So try and learn about evidence law. What are the law of evidence? Even more important element is, end of the day, competition is a law pertaining to economics.
Yes.
Learn the economics of it.
Yes.
The more economic concepts you learn, the better you'll be able to understand the scenario that you are facing.
Yes.
The better you'll be able to understand the challenges that your client is facing, the conduct that you are looking at, in what economic environment did that conduct take place.
Yes.
And then that you can then present it to the commission or to the court in the simplest of fashion. If I don't even understand the economic realities of that particular market, how will I convey it to either commission or to the court?
Right.
So please, yes, certification is good, but don't go around randomly doing courses. First, understand the ecosystem.
Yes.
Do those certifications. If beyond that you have the time and you have the inclination to learn more, knowledge always helps. By all means, do it. But the problem that I see here is that there are a lot of courses which are being offered, in this market, without adequate expertise.
Right.
I've seen somebody who's maybe a corporate lawyer teaching 5 different courses. Yesterday I came across some advertisement saying this and this person, some partner in some law firm, offering 5 different subjects. I am sorry, I'm not willing to believe that one person who is running a practice has knowledge of 5 different subjects altogether. And I see the same kind of thing when students sometimes come to you saying, sir, I have interest in corporate law, criminal law, and some XYZ law as well. How can it'll start with corporate, criminal, constitutional, and XYZ. The moment somebody tells me that I have corporate and criminal together, then I say no, but there's something wrong with the way you're going about it.
Right.
Please, by initial 3-4 years of your law school, experiment. Okay, go work with different kind of law firms, different kind of lawyers. Explore what all is available out there.
Right.
Go work with in-house counsel. See what's happening out there. Okay, go talk to maybe a legal journalist. Explore your options. Very good. But by 4th and 5th year, you should start getting some clarity as to this is what I want to do in my life. This is what I want to start with at least.
Right.
And then understand that ecosystem. Find good courses. Please, for God's sake, don't just go to random website which is giving you some random certification, because if you come to me with a certification from XYZ saying, sir, I am a specialist in competition law because this website says, I'm sorry, I'm also in that ecosystem. I know which are the good courses. I will not respect it. If you tell me this person has taught me, I will know who are the people who are teaching good, how good they are at teaching competition law.
Right.
So then that will not add value. That's a waste of your time and my time. Don't do that. Understand, do your research, don't randomly do courses, and do those courses, and I'm sure that will help you in the growth.
Right. Thank you so much. On going forward, I would just want to take one thread which Dr. Shastry was talking about. He was talking about learning other things as well. So given that we are talking about litigation, how important is interdisciplinary knowledge in building a successful career in litigation? Although we have talked about certifications, but pure litigation. So how much of interdisciplinary knowledge one should be focused on? Yes.
Initial days, see, litigation, the way I see it, every time a new client comes, there will be a new Bear Act in front of you.
Yes.
Okay. You can't expect that right from the beginning, people will say, oh, he's an expert and let's go to him for that. No.
Yes.
A client will come to you trusting that this Vakil Saab will treat me well. And he'll do a justice to my matter. All right. And new act will come. And that's why I said that you must be willing to get detail oriented, pick up that statute, learn the ecosystem where that statute operates, learn everything around it before you present that case to the court. And please appreciate that when you're going to a judge, okay, he has been, if he's a young judge, maybe you'll get away with it, but mostly experienced judges would be there who have been doing it day in and day out. Okay, he's also an expert in that area. So unless you do a good job of it, that interdisciplinary, like I said, if it is a simple criminal case, it's not simple criminal case. There is a Evidence Act around it. There is a CRPC around it. You should know that those procedures are important. So if you just say, "Oh, I am an expert," I will read that. Look, this is what factually happened. Somebody will trip you on procedures.
Right.
Okay. If you say, okay, I have evidence, somebody will say, okay, what about there some XYZ facts?
Right.
So interdisciplinary knowledge is important. No law operates in an isolated, manner. There is an ecosystem where it all operates. You must understand all the different elements that come together to build that case.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I will move on to Dr. Kumar at this stage. And my first question to you, Dr. Kumar, is a student might be interested in a niche area. We have been talking about competition law. There are other areas like privacy, international law for that matter. How does one build a career in such areas in academics? Does a niche area help, or does one have to explore further? You are on mute, Dr. Kumar.
See, let me start with the entire orientation around it. When a student is in a law school or in a master's course, and then he progresses into, say, for example, teaching or practice, as other panelists were saying, that the law school or law university gives you an opportunity, and it has been designed specifically so that you over the time develop your interest areas. So the internships are weaved into the law school program, so that the 3 months or 4 months that you get in a year, you get to experience what happens in reality in practical world, and you also kind of develop your understanding and liking for that area.
Right.
Similar to, say, for example, in teaching for that matter, that if I am developing some kind of interest in a career in research and career in teaching, then please understand that what I will have to do as an advanced study is the PhD program.
Right.
PhD is the study of a particular area of law in all its dimensions, right? So basically, any idea or any topic that you're picking of a PhD is the niche area, is the idea,
Right.
is something that nobody has worked on before, and you are doing a 360 or a multi-dimensional kind of study on that area. So
Right.
even if you pick up a traditional topic, say for example a criminal or a constitutional law, the area that you pick up is your niche area, right?
Right.
But the idea is that you have developing the understanding around that subject. So if I'm doing, say for example, a PhD in competition law, which is a niche area in itself, it's not that I'm just studying the statute. I am also studying its tangents across law papers, or even, say, for economics. Competition law is entirely based in economics, and thereby one who has to understand competition law will branch out, say for example, little bit in economics, little bit in economic theory, in consumer behavior, in consumer law for that matter, in constitutional law, business strategy, M&A, corporate law. So all these areas will be developed around with your basic niche area of competition law. So for an academician, again, see, for example, if I take my example, uh, uh, I built my master's and PhD program in an area that I liked. So
Yes.
In a master's program, you are required to make a dissertation, and that dissertation is a very good uh, groundwork for building your PhD work further. So it's one step every time. So you take some steps in the undergrad, then at the master's level, then at the PhD level, and then probably you become slightly eligible, probably to teach in that area. So niche areas always help, but please understand, it's always the fundamental concepts of law,
Right.
which will help you understand any area for that matter. And
Right.
let me also bring it with that just because you have done a niche area does not mean that every time you're teaching only that paper.
Right.
Like in litigation or in practice, you might get newer clients with newer subjects. It
Right.
might be that you must have studied corporate law, but in the first semester you're teaching contracts. Or you in the first or in the second semester you're teaching something else, a CPC for that matter. So I generally tell all my master students, that while niche area is important, what is more important is the habit of studying the law, the fundamentals of studying, right?
Right.
And thereby, because in most of the law universities, very frankly, what I tell my students is if you are going into a career in teaching, then you have to be prepared for teaching at least 3 subjects uh, 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 to have, because you will be given those subjects, say for example, which may not fall very well within the niche area that you have studied. But
Right.
since you have worked on the fundamentals of law, you will be fine.
Right. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
One more question, Dr. Kumar. During student life in law schools, there's a lot of focus on moot courts, internships, research projects, etc. Do they help in shaping up an academic career in law?
See, student activities keep on changing with every generation. There's a new focus on a new curricular activity, and frankly speaking, they're all very good. I'm not pinpoint on any activity. For example, when we were in the law school, we did not have these multiple types of curricular activities that are organized today. We
Right.
simply had moot courts, right?
Right.
And if I take my example, I learned a lot in my moot courts
Right.
because sometimes it does 2 things. Number one, it helps 2, 3 things as a skill that it develops. Number one, you learn to work in a team. You learn time management. You
Yes.
learn how to argue. You learn how
Yes.
to present your case, and then you're reading and learning about the law, the domain in which the moot court is all about. But
Right.
then in today's world, there are multiple options or career options, or sorry, co-curricular activities that the student may focus on. There are mediation, arbitration, conferences, seminars, workshops. I believe you will have, as a student, you will have to see what in area interests you more. If you think you are more inclined towards writing, these days I see so many students interning with law professors
Yes.
to help them learn how to write and research. And
Yes.
similarly, there are students in law schools who are doing moot courts extensively.
Right.
But the only last point that I'll make is, do not think at any point of time that a moot court, you should do moot court or you should do seminars or conferences just for the participation certificate. That
Yes.
is the last thing that is important.
Yes.
And trust me, your recruiters tomorrow will not look at whether you're participating in a moot court or not. The skills that you develop, the understanding that you develop in that area, if you're not honest of, say for example, I do a moot court, that will require some honesty.
Yes.
My spending of 1 month, 2 months of time on that particular area of law. If
Right.
I'm not sincere or honest to spend that much amount of time on
Right.
that area of law, I should not be doing it.
Right.
Because at the end, if I'm going just for participation, that is not going to help. Your recruiters are
Right.
not foolish.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you so much. We have had a wonderful discussion from, resource personals from varied professional backgrounds. Before we go on to the Q&A part, I would just like some 10 minutes discussion on certain aspects which are common to all these fields. So the first thing is, which everybody is bothered about, is work-life balance. So given that we are talking about different fields here, I would really like you all to talk about that aspect. It can be a discussion. So over to you.
No. So in corporates, you might have seen all this statement by the big people saying 70 hours work week, 90 hours
Yes.
work week. So law firm it is a given. I'm just talking about corporate. Law firm lawyers have to work towards different goals. the tendency we have. Friday evening, we'll send something to do associate to Mr. Shahi, and then we expect something Monday morning. So this is a usual practice. But then coming to work-life balance, but one thing I really take from taking a cue from what Mr. Shahi has said and what Dr. Kumar also said. See, if you really enjoy your work, if you're really, like as Dr. Kumar started with this, that if you want to, you're really passionate about doing legal studies, or you want to, you're passionate about teaching and research, and you can really surround yourself by books and reading, and you can do it day in, day out for next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life. If you think that you can do that, then only come to academics. Otherwise, stay away, because all this money package, there's that facilities, they are just secondary to it. They're collateral. They'll come if you're really good, or automatically they'll come to some extent. But main thing is whether you have that that zeal that, yes, I want to do this. If you have that, same thing goes for lawyers also, and Mr. Shai will agree with me that even for law firms, lawyers, if you have the passion that, yes, I want to do it, deliver that well. So if you have that, and same applies even to in-house. So then maybe so the boundary becomes very, very blur of work life. Then because since you enjoy it, you will not, it will not pinch you. Obviously, you have to, because now the world is very competitive. Attention span has gone really small. Everyone wants quick, fixed answers to things, and therefore, and especially now with technology, that boundary is ended. Even you come back to your home at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., still your phone is on and your laptops are there, so people can expect you to work. So that boundary, that where is your personal life,
Yes.
and where is your work life, is now completely blurred. Even at 12 o'clock
Yes.
at night, you are sometimes responding on emails. So therefore, but if you really enjoy it, it's really good. And if you're really enjoying it, I feel you can somehow manage your life with that. But then again, every individual is different. So if I have to say in-house, in industry, there are cycles. At times you have to be really, really busy, but you will get some cycles where there is some relaxed time. And if you can plan those your personal vacations at that time, it is great.
Right. Wonderful. I would invite others to give their opinion on this. Yes.
Okay, so I'll start. See, initial 5 years, there is a complete imbalance.
Yes.
Okay, litigation or even law firms, don't expect any kind of balance. That is the time you're expected to put in the effort, to put in those many hours, because you're learning. Okay,
Yes.
you're working on live cases.
Yes.
That's the best time to learn. Subsequently, maybe after good spending 5-7 years, things become easier, because we're having learned a bit, things a little more instinctive. When a query is being put to you, you have done so many matters that you can have an initial response. Say, look, this is what I think prima facie. Give me some time, I'll get back to you. Yeah, let me look a little more on that. But like Dr. Shastri said, if you love that subject, if you enjoy doing what you do, you'll
Yes.
figure out a way of drawing that balance.
Yes.
Okay. You'll figure out a way that, okay, you come back from office, spend some time with the family, and if there is an email to be responded to, you'll respond to it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm not saying that work-life balance should not be there. But if you are driven, you'll find a way. Recently I've been dealing with a senior counsel who's at the age of more than 70. And if you ask him for a late night conference, the last conference that he'll give you is for 2 o'clock. And next day, he's in court right in the beginning, because he's a busy counsel. He has matters through the day. So throughout the day, he's in court. He goes back home and then starts his conferences after spending maybe short while having a lunch, and then or rather not lunch, some snacks. He comes back to his chamber, sits till 2 to 30.
Yes.
And repeats it every day.
Right.
Look at his love for that profession.
Yes.
And he's good at it. He enjoys. It's not that you just tell him and he'll blurt it out. He comes up with his own ideas. His court craft is so good. That just shows his passion for that subject over so many years. He's inspiring.
Right.
Okay. So if you really enjoy your subject, you'll always find time.
Yes.
You'll enjoy discussing it. Dr. Sudha Kumar knows, Dr. Shastri also knows how many times I just call them and come up with a random idea and say, let's discuss this. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
and one doesn't feel okay. Work-life balance हो जाएगा यार. It's a part of game. Don't worry.
Yes.
The short answer to or short summary of what Mr. Shahi said is, पहले 5 साल मेहनत करो. After that you'll get used to it.
Yes, yes. I would invite Dr. Kumar to give his views
See,
on
this is one area where I can say I have the luxury of of saying that there's more balance than imbalance.
Yes.
But I look at it a bit differently. As I said, and I don't compare with obviously the demands of litigation or demand of being an in-house counsel. Obviously, they are client-facing jobs, and they will have their own requirements and deadlines, which, frankly speaking, we generally do not have that kind of pressure in terms of time. But let me put this perspective for anyone who's working in or going to start a career in academia. Most of the law students who join universities are at the age of 23, 24.
Yes.
And I generally tell my students that the next 4-5 years or 6 years are your most crucial because, as I said, you will have the maximum amount of energy and passion and enthusiasm for the next at least 5-6 years till the time you are 30, 32. By that time, the maximum effort in terms of your writing and research should happen. Your PhDs should be at some level of completion. You must have some grasp over the subject, and trust me, all of this takes time and requires some kind of involvement over a period of time. And thereby, I take the point of what other speakers are saying, that as soon as you enter the profession, don't take it easy. The grind is in the initial years,
Yes.
and it becomes easier as you go ahead.
Right.
But it is necessary and absolutely crucial that you put yourself to that grind for at least 5-6 years in the initial years.
Right. Right. Thank you so much for that, holistic view on the issue. Just one more question before we move on to the question and answer session. We all have been talking about artificial intelligence since a while now. So how do you see the respective professions getting affected? Do you see a level of redundancy that we as professionals are going to achieve in future, or do you think it's going to give us a strategic edge rather? So yes, please.
I'll start with that because, and I'll invite other speakers as well in the class. See, for anyone who is eyeing a career in academics, the only indication that it gives is there are no shortcuts.
Yes.
That means the technology is accessible to everyone
Yes.
on their mobile phones, and even on their wrist. Basically, every information is there, and thereby you will have to be innovative in classrooms. You will
Yes.
have to do your background research, background work, so that you are not caught taking the shortcut. Because very frankly, if you're not client facing, you're student facing, and there's a certain responsibility with which you have to go to the classrooms, and
Right.
and your writings as well.
Right.
And AI or any kind of technology should always be taken as a tool. I'm not averse to technology, but again, it is important that we run parallel to the tech itself. That means, like we adopted computers, like we adopted every other tech that has happened in the last 20 years.
Yes.
I think this will also stay, and the quickly that we learn to adapt and enhance our own personal skills to match with that of the tech, that is the only way that you can survive, basically.
Right. Right. I would invite others also to give their views on this.
Mr. Shahi first.
So I suggest we begin, sir.
Okay. So a very interesting question. But I'll give an example. So in around 17th or 18th century, there was this person called Cugnot, some James Cugnot. He started with a steam engine. They used to call us horseless carts. And they made some basic engine, and his family used to drive that. And the speed was around 4 or 5 kilometers per hour. And people used to laugh that why are you wasting so much of time? You have spent the entire your age in making something of this horseless cart, which is of no use. But somehow he wanted to do that because there was a steam engine was there for rivers and stuff, and he wanted to use that for roads also. And he spent, and in 20, 30 years, 40 years of after he created this, there are many, many people like who came and who created this motor vehicle. So by the end of 19th century or the earlier 20th century, it became a proper industry, motor vehicle. And a 2000 or 3000 years old industry of horse. People used to like all this. Alexander came on horses in 326 BC, and the horse, and even the Mughals and the first British Anglo-Mughal War, Anglo-Mysore War was fought on horses till 1850, 1857. The first Indian independence was fought on horsebacks. This 2000-year-old industry was just wiped out in a matter of 30, 40 years. And now the motor vehicle was such that the First World War after 1857 was fought on motor vehicle. So that is the power of innovation of technology. That in just 2, 3, 4, 5 decades, you can just wipe out the entire industry which was there for a millennia or more than a millennia. So the same thing with AI, how we are thinking, and you see 3, 4 decades back, nobody could thought of having a conference like this where people are sitting in their respective homes and interacting with them. So this is the power of technology. So in coming 4, 5 decades, AI is going to disrupt the market completely. But as Dr. Kumar said, I totally echo that. But if you have the right skill set, if you have the strategic skill set, if you know how to apply things better, this AI will be a great servant to you. But if your only skill set is very, very basic and mundane, if you cannot do much than the basic things, maybe that job is getting replaced.
Right.
So that is why if you really want to ride this technological boom and want to benefit out of it, you have to utilize and leverage this technology and think about more strategic, as you rightly said, Garima, in your initial thing, that it is more strategic thing that they have to come out with.
Right. Advocate Shahi, I would request your views on that.
I agree with Dr. Shastry that disruptive technology is it changes the way markets operate. And I remember seeing this image where you had on the left side a helicopter with a guy in there sitting with a camera.
Yes.
And on the right was a drone. And the statement was that this single $100 drone replaced both of them. So technology does disrupt the market. It takes away some profession. It creates some new professions. I don't know how AI will impact. Okay, I can't see that far into the future. It's very difficult right now because we don't know how AI is going to develop, what are the abilities that it is going to have.
Right.
If today my ability is to research, like Dr. Shastry said, if your skill is only mundane, so my ability is only to research, then AI will replace you immediately. It can go through all the precedents much more quickly. It can extract those relevant paragraphs and maybe even give you a summary of it. If I know how to use that precedent in my favor, how to use it to service my client, maybe there's a slightly different skill set. So at least for now, at a senior level within the legal profession, where you are looking at strategy, you're looking at applying those precedents in a particular manner, maybe AI is not capable as on date. But can I say that it will never be as capable? I don't. Short answer is I don't. The only thing that that lawyers can do, or in-house lawyers, practicing lawyers, academics as well, is to keep upskilling yourself. You have to be, in ahead of this whole technology which is coming in. Use it to your benefit. Use it to do your task, but keep upskilling yourself. I think that's the only way.
Right. Thank you so much, everybody, for your thoughts on so many areas that we just discussed. Now, moving on to the Q&A session, we have one very interesting question from Mohammed Lakhani. The question is that while we have talked about gaining so much knowledge in so many areas, giving that law cannot be functioning separately, there are clients, there are practical difficulties which are faced, and there are clients who still want a one-stop solution. How do we navigate that as professionals? Any thought on that?
if you want to know about how to develop a practice, Mr. Shahi is the right person. But in-house or in industry, you have to have knowledge of each and every single thing. You have to have a basic knowledge, and then so I always say that in-house counsels are like general physicians. So you know how to diagnose a disease, and then go to a specialist for answer. Like if you want to know competition law answers, obviously call Mr. Shahi and get his expert guidance. So this is how you have to operate. But I guess this question is more directed towards Mr. Shahi to how to develop practice, because obviously I understand that if I want to develop practice and I say I don't understand competition law or I don't understand criminal law, the client will just run away, because I have to have knowledge of all the skill sets. So Mr. Shahi can guide how to develop a practice, and you have to have all these 5-6 skill set.
Yes.
So, okay, there's a difference between how a litigator perceives this and how a law firm will perceive this. Okay. In-house, of course, in-house counsel is the one-stop solution for the business. Once they say this is my problem, it's for the in-house to figure it out.
Yes.
Litigation would be related to a specific domain. If a matter comes to you, the client is saying that, okay, I have a contractual dispute, then it will be contractual. Okay, there'll be some maybe shades of a couple of other subjects, but you can provide that service. Law firms, yes, suddenly the whole domain changes. A person who comes to you, you may be an expert in competition law, but one, you should realize the limitation that, okay, competition law may not be the only solution. No, every time a client comes, I can't say, let's go to run to Competition Commission of India.
Yes.
Optimum answer. I should have the honesty to say, look, I think there is a better solution, maybe under dispute resolution.
Yes.
Okay. So if client comes to me and says, hey, this is my problem, can you solve it? I study that problem. I should have the knowledge to figure out that, look, this is not the situation which only competition law can handle. There may be an aspect of some other law which can be made applicable here. There may be under some other regulatory law that may be made applicable here. I should be able to tell them that, look, let's have a broad perspective on this. Let's have let's give a holistic advice where maybe my colleagues from other teams get involved, and together we can develop a strategy.
Right.
And that's where the practice of a individual litigator who's there before the courts and a law firm varies. In a law firm, you can tap into the expertise of other teams because firms will generally have multiple, practice areas.
Right.
Some firms, top firms, of course, have all the practice areas. Some firms will have certain areas where they don't have a person who's practicing that area.
Right.
They should have the honesty to say, look, here we feel that this is the subject, this is the area that has the right answer for you. We don't have the expertise. Let us reach out to somebody outside the firm and talk to him. That's why I said it's about trust with the client. Even if you don't have the complete answer, you should be able to convey that to the client that, look, according to me, there's something more to it. There's some other guy that we want to talk to here.
Right.
And then have a chat with him. And we have seen this. We have seen that different firms occasionally come together to service the same client. I have seen competition law cases, interestingly, where a GC of one of the big companies had a partner from one firm, the support team, associates and principals from a second firm, and a senior counsel who was leading the whole argument. So you had 3 officers working together to deliver, and that worked. That really worked. So that's how you develop. You can't be a one-stop solution. In litigation, yes, because there's a specific problem for which he's coming. One-stop solution, done. But in law firms where there are various facets of a problem, you should be, you should be able to talk to others and get an answer.
Right. Right. Thank you. If Dr. Kumar has any views on it, we would love to hear it. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next question.
No, I echo Dr. Shastri and Shahi sir in terms of what they said. We can take up the questions.
Okay. So I think Ronak has raised a hand for a question. So I would request Taxmann team to allow the the participant to speak. Yes, Ronak, please. What is your question?
Mr. Ronak, you may please unmute yourself.
If there are any other questions, please raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can speak up. Okay, I believe there are no questions further then.
Ronak only has raised his hand, but I guess he can't unmute himself or what?
Yes. Okay, so we will close. I mean, this was a very interesting and very holistic conversation, I would say. And we'll close with the idea that the common thread in all these conversations coming from these experienced professionals from different fields is that law cannot be read, understood, or practiced in silos. So one needs to understand that entire ecosystem which interests you, and thereafter look at the opportunities which are there, identify the challenges, and then build up your career, be it certifications, be it the course, be it anything. So it cannot function in silos. I think at that note, we can conclude for today. Thank you so much, Dr. Shastry, Dr. Advocate Shahi, and Dr. Kumar for your value addition in this webinar, because there's a lot of hustle and there's a lot of confusion about basic things. I think we have talked about a lot of them today. Thank you.